Thank you, ladies and
It's
gentlemen.
crazy.
We have a quorum, and I call this meeting to order of the September 7th, 2021, board meeting. The first is we're gonna have some housekeeping. Cell phones, mute or off, but please, so we don't have any interruptions. Been guilty of that. Two, want to make sure, if you are planning to speak for or against, for any reason, make sure you're signed in with Ms. Bridget. Number three, when you are speaking, consider yourself under oath. And four, when you get up to speak, if you'll rise, go to the podium in front of the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and then continue. That covered all, Mr. Laird?
Except if they want to leave after theirs, they can.
That's right. If you would like to leave after your case, that you're fine to do that. Just do so quietly and exit the building. Exit the door that says exit on that. The one that some of us had to come in backwards. All right. The next item on the business agenda is approval of the minutes of the meeting for August 3rd, and I thank Mr. Longshore for taking care of that for me while I had to be out of town. Does the board have any opinion?
Move it be approved.
And who was that
Lister.
You listed,
Mr. Lister?
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Bowler.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, minutes are approved. Thank you. The next item, there is no old business, so we go to new business. We have a case number VA 01-09-07-21, a variance request for the relief of the average of the 65-foot setback from the 360 contour of Lake Murray for the placement of a new in-ground pool. The property is located at 118 Prosperity Court Lane, Prosperity, South Carolina, tax map number 538-4-48. Ms. Wertz.
The homeowners is asking for a variance request for the relief of the 65-foot setback from the 365 contour of Lake Murray. Instead of the 65-foot setback, they're asking for the 35-foot setback for replacement of a personal in-ground swimming pool. Staff has been out to the location. We see no issues with this, and we do recommend the variance.
Thank you, ma'am. Does the board have any questions for Ms. Wertz? Excuse me?
It's Prosperity Court, and we have that on the paperwork. We've got it, Prosperity Court.
Yes, I'm sorry, your application does say court. I read from the line. It is court.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, any questions from the board? All right, is there anyone here speaking on behalf of this application? You're not required to speak, just if you would like. All right. Is there anyone speaking against this variance request? Okay. All right. Forward. We have a few things we have to follow. We have heard from the staff report, their recommendation. Also, we must consider our friends here. There are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to a particular piece of property. Two, these conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity or in that district. Three, because of these conditions, the application of the ordinance to a particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict the use of the property. The authorization of the variance will not be a substantial detriment to adjacent property or the public good and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance. And the effect of the variance would not allow the establishment of a use not otherwise permitted in the zoning district, would not extend physically a non-conforming use of the land, would not change the zoning district boundaries shown on the official zoning map. Having said that, the recommendations from this board.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we grant the variance request for the relief of the average 65-foot setback as requested, since it would not be detriment to the property area.
Thank you, Ms. Coleman, for a motion to accept.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second.
Second, not Mr. Stafford. Aye, Ryan, set up. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This is, your variance request is granted. You need to wait 30 days before you go any further. You're welcome, and like I said, you can exit to my right, your left.
The 30 days is the appeal to the circuit court. We'll let you know when the 30 days is up, okay?
Case number 2, number VA 02-09-07-21. A variance request for the relief of the average of the 96-foot setback from the 360 contour of Lake Murray for the placement of a new 12-foot by 20-foot open carport. The property is located at 949 Grant Drive, Prosperity, South Carolina, tax map number 591-1-1-68. Ms. Works.
And if you would recall, last meeting, Mr. Foster was here to get a variance for the pad that was already in place. The board granted that pad. He is here this month to get a variance for an open carport. It's gonna be the dimensions of a 12 by 20, just the top, no sides. Staff does recommend this variance.
The board have any questions in this work? Is there anyone here speaking on behalf of the variance? Yes, sir. If you please go to the podium.
My name's John Foster, and I live at 949 Grant Drive. And it's just like she said, it's just gonna be an open shed to put a boat under. She pretty much explained it. I don't really know anything else I can tell you.
All right. Does the board have any questions? Mr. Foster? Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Foster, what's the height of the shed?
It'll be about 8 foot. Tall enough to get a boat up under it. It's like a carport, little metal carport.
It'll be in line also with the existing shed that's there,
Yes, sir.
same height.
No, it'll be lower. It won't be
Okay.
as tall. There won't be any sides on it or anything like that, so.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Mr. Foster.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Is there anyone here speaking against this variance request? Please approach this podium.
Good evening. I'm Julie King, and our address is 18 Cove View Road. We got this, we started looking at it, and we were definitely taking a look at the 96-foot setback from the 360 contour, but our concern is more of the side yard setback. The coding is that it's supposed to be a 7-foot setback from our property line, and it only sits about a foot, maybe 2 feet away from our property line, and that's a concern for resale for us.
Okay.
Ms. King, I believe we discussed that last meeting and approved it with that 0 setback because it was off the property line. I believe that's what we acted on last meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
For
Oh,
the pad.
Right, the pad was
The
for,
pad
but this
was
is,
already
but
there,
this is
so-
for a new structure being built, so I felt it was important to reiterate that again, our concern.
Mr.
Would the car shed impact your view of the lake?
Not directly in front of us, but to the side yard, yes, it does.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
do you have any pictures from your view to where this is going to sit?
No, I do not, because I didn't bring my phone in
Okay.
today, because I knew we couldn't have cell phones on. Do you have anything with you? It's out in the car, but no, I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, ours are in the car.
And you say your concern is primarily the setback off the property line?
That is correct. That is
That's
correct,
already
'cause-
been decided. We acted on that last meeting. We don't need to act on that again. We're talking about only putting the shed on the existing pad where it is.
Correct.
Any other questions for Ms. King? All right, thank you, ma'am.
Absolutely, thank you.
Anyone else speaking against? All right. The board has heard the staff reports. We first Mr. Foster and Ms. King. Is there? Here we have to listen to our dear friends here, who when we consider this, which comes from 153.052C 1 through 5. There are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to a particular piece of property. These conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity or in that district. Because of these conditions, the application of the ordinance to a particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict use of the property. The authorization of the variance will not be a substantial detriment to the adjacent property or the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance. And the effect of the variance would not allow the establishment of a use not otherwise permitted in the zoning district, would not extend physically a non-conforming use of the land, would not change the zoning district boundaries shown on the official zoning map. Having said that, does the board have any recommendations?
I move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Larry Shore moves to approve, Ms. Coleman seconds. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Mr. Lister, there's no,
Mr. Chairman, I oppose it as well.
and that's Mr.
Ransdell.
Ransdell. Thank you. Five yea, 2 no. Mr. Foster, your variance request is granted. You still need to wait 30 days to be in contact with Ms. Works or the zoning to make sure there's no other issues. Thank you very much, and you may exit to my right, your left. The next case, number VA 03-09-07-21, a variance request for a 0-foot side yard setback for the placement of a new 20 by 21 open carport. The property is located at 1415 Chapman Drive, Newberry, South Carolina, tax map number 3971-2-34. Ms. Wertz.
The homeowner is asking for a variance from the 7-foot side lot line to go to a 0-foot side property line. There is an existing parking pad where he's wanting to put his parking shed. He's asking for a 20 by 21-foot open carport. The parking shed will go beside an easement drive. It's not someone's personal property. It is an easement road. There will be no site interference with turning off of that easement. If vehicular traffic uses it, you can see, would be able to see around the open carport. And staff does recommend it. And if you can see, here is his property, and that easement is right there beside it.
We'll give you just 1 minute. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right. Does the board have any questions of Ms. Wertz? All right, thank you, Ms. Wertz. Is there anyone here speaking on behalf in favor of this variance? Yes, sir, it's your turn.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David S. Gibson, Sr. I reside at 1415 Chapman Drive here in Newberry, and I'm extremely hearing impaired, so please bear with me there. If I ask you to repeat something, please forgive me there. I've taken some pictures. May I approach and pass them up to the...
Yes,
Some pictures of various angles of what I propose to do.
thank you.
Yes, sir. Excuse me.
Here, I'm gonna let Ms. Coleman look, and then we'll just ask that. Is that fair?
Yes, sir, you'll see from that picture, that's the access road that goes down to where Mr. Rhett Fraser's building him a new home down behind the house there. So, I think he's named it Forest Creek Road there, so. But,
Yeah. Is this shed for like where this vehicle is parked? Where
Say
you
again, Mr.
propose-
Hill?
Is it proposed where you're parking this vehicle?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm just gonna move that, if it approved, Mr. Hip, I'm gonna move that fence over and finish filling that with gravel so I can park 2 vehicles side by side, sir. Has everyone had the opportunity to look at the pictures? All right, thank
Anything else you'd like to add? Anything, would you like to add anything else? Okay, thank you, Mr. Gibson. Is there anyone speaking against this variance request? All right. Before the board makes any recommendations, after listening to Mr. Gibson and our staff report, we must consider our dear friends 153.052C 1 through 5. There are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to a particular piece of property. 2, these conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity or in that district. 3, because of these conditions, the application of the ordinance to a particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict use of the property. 4, the authorization of the variance will not be a substantial detriment to adjacent property or the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance. And the effect of the variance would not allow the establishment of a use not otherwise permitted in the zoning district, would not extend physically a non-conforming use of the land, would not change the zoning district boundaries shown on the official zoning map. And then I repeat, we have heard from the staff report that they didn't have a problem with it, with that, and the pictures, which I would like to enter into the record. Please make sure we have it back up here. Does this board have an opinion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion, we approve this variance.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
Wilks, Moose, Bowen, second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise? Your variance is granted, but you must wait 30 days. All right? Thank you. You may exit to your left.
No, I think it was Patrick and Mr. Lister that opposed it.
No, it was Lister and myself opposed.
You, John.
Yes.
Okay.
The last case, number BA 0-09-07-21, a variance request for the relief of the average of the 72-foot setback from the 360 contour of Lake Murray for the placement of a new in-ground pool. The property is located at 28 Belle Isle Lane, Prosperity, South Carolina, tax map number 655-1-129. Ms. Ward.
Property owners are asking for a variance request for the relief of the 72-foot setback from the 360 contour of Lake Murray. They're needing to be 20 foot instead of the 72 foot. We have been out, we don't see an issue with it, staff recommends it, and it's gonna be for a new in-ground pool for personal use.
All right. Board have any questions of Ms. Works? Anyone here speaking for the variance request? Please approach the podium.
Good evening. My name is Joe Wright, and I reside at 28 Belle Isle Lane in Prosperity, South Carolina. And as Ms. Wirtz said, we're asking for a variance for a pool. I have pictures if you all would like to see them. May I, or do you care to see them?
If you feel that it is.
My bride made pictures for everybody, so I'd be remiss by it.
All right, very good. Please pass them out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
She did a good job.
Yes, she did.
Thank you.
The first set of photos there are just a rendering that we had drawn for sort of what it would look like should we be granted the variance. The next page is a pool diagram of a couple of swimming pools that the two pool companies said that we could work in there. The next set of pictures is proposed where it would sit in reference to the lake. Is some of these, and that picture on the right on Exhibit 3 is hard to see, but the 20-foot mark, there's a line down there just beyond that, just beyond the sand. And the same with Exhibit 4, it's just showing where the pool would sit in reference to the property and the lake. And also with Exhibit 5 and 6. And interestingly enough, on Exhibit 7 is where the 100-year flood or 1,000-year flood made its mark on the property. The orange marker is the 360 contour, and the white marker is where the water got to during the 1,000-year flood. And the same is with Exhibit 8. And Exhibit 9 is just a picture of where the 1,000-year flood came.
Thank you very much. Does the board have any questions of Mr. Wright? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone here speaking against the variance request? Having heard the staff report and Mr. Wright's pictures, we also must consider our dear friends from 153.052C through 5. There are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to a particular piece of property. 2, these conditions do not generally apply to other property in the vicinity or in that district. 3, because of these conditions, the application of the ordinance to a particular piece of property would effectively prohibit or unreasonably restrict use of the property. 4, the authorization of the variance will not be of substantial detriment to adjacent property or the public good, and the character of the district will not be harmed by the granting of the variance. And 5, the effect of the variance would not allow the establishment of a use not otherwise permitted in the zoning district, which would not extend physically a non-conforming use of the land, would not change the zoning district boundaries shown on the official zoning map. Having said that, does the board have a recommendation?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve.
Mr. Tyler
Yes, sir.
Second.
and Ms. Coleman, second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed likewise? Mr. Wright, the variance is approved, but you must wait 30 days. Please. And this work, be in contact with Ms. Work.
Y'all did a nice job on those pictures, too.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, excellent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
atta boy,
excellent.
atta girl, there you go.
Very helpful.
It was enlightening.
Yeah.
The agenda says no other business, is that correct? Right now, the next BZA meeting is scheduled for October 5th, 2021 at 5:30 PM, and we do have a case right now. Everybody's doing well with our education requirements, I hope.
Gotta get it done.
And I'm sure Mr. Lister will get right in there on that fall with education requirements. He'll enjoy it. Is there any other business for this board? Ms. Coleman, would you like to make?
Mr. Chairman, I move for the adjournment of the September meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Coleman. All that second and approve, arise and depart in peace. Thank you.
Okay, good job.
Oh, thank you.
When do you say the next meeting